we often associate our destiny with doing something, with works. Therefore, people talk about their scroll of destiny. Their scroll of destiny is not a list of works that they were designed to do. Yes, there are good works designed beforehand, but those good works are more about who we are rather than what we do. It's being. So ultimately, the best thing we can be is to be us. Now, yes, we've been damaged and we've been hurt and we've been broken, but that's the process that God is taking us through to reconcile and restore and make us whole and transform us. And ultimately, anyone who has been born has a spirit assigned to them by God and a soul which forms when the spirit comes into the cells of that child. And each child has a destiny to be outworked from who they are in the spirit, and they're assigned a redemptive gift, and they come into a world which is imperfect. Of course, terrible things happen, bad things happen, but God is always wanting to bring good out of those bad things. Now, yes, he's working in our situation where things are not how he intended them to be, but ultimately he will restore us to the place of who he intended us to be. All of the rest of it is superficial to that. The things in the world are temporal. Generally what he has created is eternal, but what we've done are temporal. They're only lasting for, in a sense, when you think of an eternal perspective, a moment. So, you know, God has forgiven you for everything, whether you married the right person, wrong person, whether you married the right person and they both got it wrong, whether you married the wrong person for the right reasons. It doesn't matter, because God's not looking at what you've done. He's looking at who you are, and he wants you to know that you are loved and accepted for who you are. When you are able to accept that without the need to strive to do, to fulfill, to earn, all of that, then you'll enjoy being who you are. And that will enable all of the things that flow out of that. Then you can live loved, love living, and live loving. Everything will flow out of the fact that you come from a place of rest, that you're living in the love and joy and peace of God. You are experiencing his limitless grace and triumphant mercy, so that rather than looking back at what has happened and whether it should have happened or shouldn't have happened, look forward to you fulfilling who you are. And that would include you being the best father, the best husband. But right now, you're focusing on the failures that you see from what you've done, rather than looking from God's perspective. He's made you righteous. He's justified you. He's not looking through any record of wrongs that you seem to be keeping a record of the wrongs. I would encourage you to let go of those things and focus on just yielding and surrendering yourself to him, to allow him to transform you and to bring about, so you can receive the good that he brings out of the things that we've done or the things that have not gone perfectly. So in reality, of course, it would be not better that you were not at all, or your daughter was not at all. God will bring about an eternal perspective to your life, which will change everything if you let him. Now, I know it's not easy, because I know you're feeling somewhat condemned, but I think that's because you're living not in the spirit of life, but in the memory of your life. Your scroll is a expression of who you are, and the scroll of your life, which doesn't match up to the scroll of your destiny, because we've all done things out of our lost identity rather than for it, even as Christians. He will consume all of the wood, hay, and straw on that scroll so that the gold, silver, and precious stones can shine brightly. That's his desire. And I would encourage you to just try and rest, try and be still and let him show you who he is. Just come without an agenda, for what you're supposed to be doing. And when you're starting to feel confused, angry, and those things, that's the point where you come. And that's the point where you actually own what you're feeling and cast all your burdens onto God. Allow him to carry all of that so he can renew your mind so that you don't come from that old mindset perspective, but your mind is transformed to come from a new covenant mindset, from a new identity mindset, that the way God sees you. God wants you to see yourself the way he sees you. That requires intimacy. That requires relationship. That requires looking into his face and seeing a reflection back of who you are, your glory. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to do that visually, but do it by desire and intent. Choose to engage the face of God, the heart of God, and allow him to reveal and unveil to you the truth of who you really are, so you can rest in that truth and stop trying to prove who you are by what you do. Yeah, God really does love you unconditionally. That means no conditions. He loves your daughter unconditionally. That means no conditions. And ultimately, both of you will come into that revelation at one point in your life, because God's desire is to bring you into that place where you can truly know who he is and who you are, and rest in it. If you enjoy these videos, would you please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe? It really does help. Thank you very much.